So this week, this channel clocked up over 100 million views. I mean, 100 million. Just to put that into perspective, Richard Dawkins' The God Delusion, his best-selling book, sold about 3 million copies. Now, sure, making videos is a different game to writing books and has a different impact. It does, however, put the number 100 million views into perspective. And wow, flicking through the old videos this channel's made over the last 9 or so years, it's done some stuff. It's fought battles with all sorts of people who would try almost any dirty trick, then rather than fight a battle with rational arguments over the facts. Creationism, Scientology, Islam, feminism, pseudoscientists, and yeah, that even included NASA when they were putting forward pseudoscientific bullshit arguments. This channel's been there. And on top of that, he's made some really cool science videos, like watching an entire rotation of Jupiter from the surface of the Earth, a time-lapse that took about 10 hours. Watching a cometary impact on Jupiter, watching the last Venus transit in our lifetimes, both in the visible and H-alpha wavelengths, slow motions of turtles, hydrogen bombs running half the temperature of the surface of the sun, time-lapses of volcanoes, exploding stars in a galaxy a long time ago and far, far away. At a nuclear reactor, putting my iPod in one of the most powerful neutron beams on the planet. And then there was watching the whole sky aurora, measuring the radioactivity on a commercial jet and making cesium metal the most reactive of the alkali metals on a barbecue. And then getting some really cool slow motion footage of it exploding in water. Inductively levitating magnets with a beer can and working out why alkali metals really explode in water. Something that may yet have revolutionary impact. And then there were other things like harvesting honey off bees and doing really cool electrostatic experiments with honey and other stuff. And then there were just the fun things like messing around with mercury or speed cooking chicken in a pure oxygen atmosphere.
I am at the point right now where I think Thunderfoot is the guy at the office who gets everyone else the coffee.
I was, however, kind of sad when I strolled back and I got to this moment, which I can still vividly remember, which was when I just uploaded Why Do People Laugh at Creationists Part 17. And I was really proud of that one at the time. And I remember cycling to the nightclub blind drunk because, yeah, I'm human like that. And thinking that even if I got hit by a car, I would be happy because I'd made that video. Now, looking back, the content's still good, but the production quality is pretty flaky by modern standards. That was the one where I pointed out the bullshit in this statement.
They say that the code in the chromosomes is more complex and holds more information than all the computer programs ever written in the history of humanity combined.
Because merely the Windows operating system at the time took more than a single CD, and a single CD could hold the entire human genome. And it's just one of those amazing things that even back then, you could carry a copy of your genome around on a piece of hardware smaller than your fingernail. And later videos went on to give some fairly cool representations of how that information related to other stuff in society. Anyways, going back to part 17, that was the one where I really vented about how it was annoying to have research scientists spending their time combating this intentional disinformation spread by these bullshit merchants. And for me, that was really venting because at the time, that really was a thankless task I was undertaking.
No, who's the only one who's always been there? God. Who knows everything? So, in a big loud voice, who should you always trust first, God or the scientist? God, and I want you to remember that.
And it wasn't until 2 years after that, when I actually bit the bullet and became a YouTube partner, that I even earned a single cent off YouTube. And that was almost 5 years ago now. And even then, at the time, it turned out to be peanuts. Nonetheless, I kept going with this because I understood that you need competent people out there making these videos, debunking this crap. That's really necessary stuff. And if everyone quit, because ultimately it doesn't put food on the table, and a lot of gratitude simply cannot perpetually offset the time, effort, and cost of making these videos, if everyone quits, then we're screwed. will be left in the hands of video makers pretending to be scientists. And we all know how well that works out.
They fire up the engines, they pull the supports down, so this stays completely in the same place, but there's all this magnetism that's saving everybody while the Earth is shaking wildly under it. The Earth is like, okay, I'm done. The supports come back up. Everything's good. So we were like, of course, you could probably, with a million engines, lift anything, but that's got to cost a fortune.
$13.10. That's what we're talking about. What it would take to hover a house, energy-wise.
How does never having to fill your car with gas again sound? By simply replacing your engine with a system that runs on thorium, one of the densest materials known to man, you'll only need to refuel once a century.
You may think it's too good to be true, but here I am, sitting on the proof. This chair is made from air carbon, a material that's doing its part to protect the Earth's ever-warming climate.
Has anyone seen this video for solar freaking roadways?
Yeah!
I have seen the future, and it is solar freaking roadways.
What's your dream car? Something fast, sleek, fuel efficient? Well, mine is all of those, and it runs on salt water.
And this is why looking back at this video description was so sad. Two of the names on this list I know came from Ivy League universities, and sadly they're not making videos anymore. In fact, of the 7 names, only 2 are still active. Potholer still makes brilliant videos on really whatever subject he touches, but sadly doesn't make many videos these days. And as far as I know, he still doesn't make a single bean off of his videos. Aaron, he kind of drank the social justice warrior Kool-Aid at Free Thought Blogs and kind of decided that how important he was linked to how many places he got invited to talk at or how many people he could get his photo taken with. And it was even sadder because I came across this video where I first promoted him, and when I did, he only had 245 subscribers. Now, I went in completely the opposite direction to that because I looked at the most popular conference of the day, which was the Amazing Meeting. And if you were lucky, you could maybe address 2,000 people versus YouTube, where it's perfectly possible for a video to clock up 100,000 views in a single day. For me, which was the more important medium, was an absolute no-brainer. Which is one of the reasons why when Free Thought Blogs vowed to drive me out of the community such that I would be forever a pariah and never invited to speak at conferences again, I just had this confused dog look on my face where I was just struggling to see why them sort of threatening to close ranks on this cliquey little conference circuit thing was even remotely a threat. And yeah, make no mistake, it wasn't the religious who effectively destroyed the atheist movement. It was feminists who infiltrated, derailed, and effectively destroyed what until then had been an exciting and vibrant new atheist movement. And you've got to give credit to Dawkins here, that he was the first in line to call bullshit on these first world problems and the first in the atheist community to suffer the feminist witch hunt. Dawkins survived despite their best efforts to destroy him, but such witch hunts have since claimed the scalps of Nobel Prize winners. Sadly, here we are, the best part of a decade on, and the wreckage of the atheist community, once renowned for its big hitters, is reduced to this. This is now how a Secular Student Alliance panel starts.
My name is David Chervis. I work for the Richard Dawkins Foundation. I'm also an alumnus of Secular Panthers, which is the SSA affiliate at Georgia State University. I am cisgender, male, poly, and disabled. So I am I've got a lot of privilege on this panel.
Some of the issues facing the LGBT, like past marriage, definitely biphobia and panphobia. There's a huge issue with this assumption that you're either gay or straight, and being gay is more like the default of like, oh, umbrella term gay. And I think that kind of erases a lot of different identities in the LGBT movement.
I'm Danielle Moscato. Thank you. I'm a trans woman, an atheist, I'm poly, and I'm gay.
Hi, my name's Thunderfoot, and no one gives a shit what gender I am, and no one cares what colour my skin is, whether I'm tall or short. fit or fat, pretty or ugly, or what I find sexually attractive. I make badass videos on YouTube because that's a world more interesting than a bunch of losers who think that being a laundry list of minorities or having a laundry list of disabilities somehow entitles them to have everyone else listen to their whiny ass tantrums. And yeah, when this is what an atheist conference looks like.
So this was a closed Q&A that was not open to people of color to actually address. So one, I want to know why people of color were not given space and why this was. The point is to uplift and validate the perspective and to honor the black students, particularly the black students in Mizzou. I find it highly problematic that the point of this is to uplift your narrative as a white male entering a black space and then having, the audacity to file a lawsuit about assault.
No wonder the largest free atheist conference in America has about 30 attendees. Yeah, just look at what social justice warriors and feminism has done for the largest free skeptical conference in America. And tell me that if it's not poisoned to death, that it's a ghost of its former self. However, credit where credit is due. Many thanks to all of those on Patreon who have supported this channel, or those who have just given money to this channel over the years. I deeply thank you for your support, because your support has not only given me a level of financial security which only 2 years ago I wouldn't have thought possible. It's given me access to equipment and supplies that have now ensured that there's going to be badass videos on this channel for years to come.